Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Bararak and I'm a Minecraft technical player. Today I'm going to show you some new little ideas onto one of the basics of redstone contraptions, item sorters or filters, together with other proposals for your storage. So let's get into it. Since old versions of Minecraft, we've known of this, the basic, infinite, international, universal, tileable signal strength 3 item sorter, or simply standards filter. Everybody knows about it. Here you can see your filler items, and whatever item you want to filter out, you put it inside your hopper. The redstone dust reaches signal strength 3 here, 2 and 1 here, then it will become 2, 1 and 0. This is your standard filter. As you may know, this filter is tileable because you can have multiple filters that make up your storage, filtering out different type of items. This way you can have tileable filters that will never reach a signal strength higher than 3. In this redstone dust, this module here is not interfering with the adjacent one because of the hopper delay. This hopper here takes 8 game ticks to put an item to the side. The circuit here operates at most inside a window of time that is 8 game ticks. These redstone components here give out 2 game ticks of delay here from the comparator, 2 here from the repeater, and 2 here from the torch. So we could use this configuration, 6 game ticks total, or this other configuration, 8 game ticks total. An improvement you could do to your standard filter is the one Ilmango showed a few years ago, and it is called double hopper speed item sorter. As you can see, this is what we usually called standard filter, and here we have 2 more hoppers. These ones, this upper hopper here is pointing downwards, and that is an important thing to take note of. And this hopper here have to be filled with a second type of filler items. As you can see, here I have these types of filler items, these with the X's, and these other with the dashes. So if we want to filter out these light blue concrete, we fill up this core hopper here, this central hopper here, and here we use the other filler items, and the light blue concrete goes down at double hopper speed. As you can see, it usually stops at 40 or 41, sometimes 42 items, but all the items here will be left and blocked this way. So the same thing as before, but at double the speed. Here you can see another version of item sorter, the minimal filter. This one uses only 2 pieces of dust. Here we have signal strength of 3 and 2, then it will become 2 and 1, and then 1 and 0. 18 items will remain inside this hopper, so you can maybe use this other type of filter to suck out, for example, diamonds or netherite ingots. This way you have less items inside this hopper. The thing is, this filter here is not as safe as the previous one. Everybody uses the standard filter, and that's for a reason. That reason being the fact that this item filter here is not tileable. As you can see, we can obviously replicate and clone the same configuration sideways, have the same type of components, etc. But when we have our filler items here and we filter out, for example, red concrete, or we used it before, so chests, we can see that it overflows here, and this hopper here will no longer be a filter. It will break. You always have to be sure you have no more than 23 items. If you have 23 items here, now I can show you, we reach only signal strength of 2 here. So this redstone dust here will never reach signal strength 1. But if we put one more item, for a brief moment it reached power level of 3. So this piece of redstone dust reached power level of 1. This means this filter is starting to break. If I put a lot of items here, this filter will be broken. All the filler items will go down here and inside the chest. So the next batches of items will be every kind of item you can possibly imagine. And the old filter will no longer work as you expected it to. So the only way to be sure that when you use this type of filter you are safe enough to not interfere to the adjacent blocks is simply to have one block gap between one module and the other. It's that simple, but is really not that convenient. The only other way is to have a really reliable input system that grants you to put inside those chests, inside those filters, no more than 23 items, as I told you before. So either you go for an input system that gives you no more than 23 items per time. So for example, when you have clusters of items, as you can see from the hitboxes, that are all grouped up, and you have to be sure and to count them up to not exceed that power level, and that way you can be sure to use them side by side and to have them be somehow tileable. Or you go for the safest way, so that means to have one block gap between one module and the other, so it will not be tileable. That is really not convenient, because in your big storage, in your main storage and in most server bases, that space is really important. So having a lot of filter side by side, it's really convenient. So almost everybody uses the standard filters. So I told myself, is there a way to make this minimal filter, this one that uses 2 pieces of redstone dust, somehow safer and more reliable? And I found a solution to this problem. I don't know if some other guys out there in the internet found it before me. I searched out and looked out on YouTube for almost a year by now, and I didn't find anything, so I think I'm the first one showing this. But if you know some other guy that came up with something like the thing that I'm showing right now to you, please let me know in the comment below. So here we are to the solution. Here I use a minimal filter, so the one that uses only 2 pieces of redstone dust, with 2 different configurations of modules. This way I can alternate between the blue one and the red one and have a tileable and really safe redstone contraption. Why did I go for something like this? Well, because I thought using 1 piece of redstone dust less than usual, when you have hundreds of filters, maybe means something in terms of lag and maybe even resources. So I thought of something like this, and that was a simple solution, as you can see here, and it gives a little bit more of variety inside our storages. Before you simply had to have your plane of blocks, put the same redstone dust here, so for hundreds of filters is really a comfortable solution. The usual standard filters for the storage. This way I think it's really fun to use something different than usual. I mean, we used the standard filters for years by now, so I really think it's something worth giving it a try. Okay, now let's get into the explanation of what's going on here. So at first I had these comparators, obviously reading out from the usual hoppers, that couldn't interfere. So I had put a block in front of each comparator and then went in front of that block for one configuration, for one type of module, and under that block for the other configuration. Then I did the usual job. So to fill the rest of the system with our friend the repeater and the torch here. As you can see, we're inside the window of time because we can obviously always use the repeater at its standard configuration, or if you right click on it once, so it's the same thing. Only one thing you have to take into account is to put a transparent block beneath this comparator. So even an upper slab or a glass block, something that cannot be powered, because when you use this filter, this redstone here will be powered and it will power this block, so this hopper here, and it will not work that way. So this is the only thing you have to take into account. This hopper 2 is getting powered by this block, but it's no real problem. You can obviously go around like you can see here and you will have no problem at all. Okay, so let's see how we can configure them. The usual item fillers, and if we want to filter out this time our redstone repeaters, here as you can see we go down 3 2, then 2 1, and then 1 0 as the minimum filter you saw before. Here we go down, as you can predict by now, to 18 items. Okay, so the same goes for the filters here, and this module obviously doesn't interfere with the ones it has around. The advantage of using something like this can be in the less lag you cause because of using one piece of redstone dust less, and only one piece doesn't mean almost anything, but when you have 100 filter storage, it means something. So the other powerful thing you can take into account is obviously the fact that you can now put inside your input system batches of items that go up to, I think, 46 items. So as you can see here, I can have an input system that gives out clusters of 48 items, and that makes the difference from before, because before we had 41 items inside, so it meant that no more than 23 items could go inside the hopper. This time we can have 46, double that amount, and we can make it even more powerful because I did this to preserve a bit of lag. But if you don't care about lag, this filter is even safer than the standard filter, because even though in the standard filter we used only one slot of the hopper, and that is the reason why we couldn't exceed power level of 3 inside this piece of redstone dust, we can now do whatever we want with the hopper, because simply the circuits don't share the same space. So we could do something like this. As you can see, we can go down to 1 item inside our filter. And this is one of the most convenient thing I've ever seen in Minecraft. It is really a powerful solution, because now we can use batches, obviously, of 63 items. Yes, 63 items. We go for a short moment to a power level equal of 5, and then 4 and 3, now 3 and 2, then 2 and 1, 1, 0. So yeah, it is laggier, but do what you want. If you want to use the usual configuration with 1 filler item per slot, except for the first one that takes 18 of the filtered items, or you go for one filtered item, 18 filler item on the second slot, and then one filler item on the last slots. Okay, here you can see what it looks like to have more of them. Then after this solution, I thought, is there another improvement we could do to this filter? And then I thought of something like this. Yes, it is more complicated, but we have here the Ilmango solution for the double hopper speed item sorter. This time it uses only 2 pieces of redstone dust instead of 3. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive because we use a few more blocks and 1 redstone repeater more. This time it has to be set only at its standard configuration to be inside the window of time. And that way, if we configure this central hopper, we can have a double hopper speed minimal filter that is tileable. Yes. We go down to 16, 17 or sometimes 18 items. So we can do a try with 16 of them. Let's see. We go down to 2. Okay, 2 items. So we could put inside those hoppers clusters of 62 items and have them be sorted at double hopper speed. This is really powerful. So I can now explain how you do this configuration. We go down, then here we use 2 blocks and 2 redstone repeaters set only at their standard configuration. Here we use our hoppers. Here we have the chest and the other hopper here. This is the configuration with Comparator block down. Then we use the other color to show better what's going on. For the other configuration, we go Comparator block front. Here too we use 2 redstone repeaters and the redstone torch. Here the hoppers go the usual way for a double hopper speed item sorter, and here we have our tileable minimal double hopper speed item sorter. Remember always to fill up with one kind of filler item the core hoppers, then you fill that slot you left, then again you use some other type of filler items to have the filter. Okay, as we saw before, here we can go down to 2 items and have clusters of items that are bigger than before, and here we have the final storage. Okay, so choose your item sorters wisely and be sure to correctly align the items inside your system. Let me know what you think about this new minimal filter in the comment section, and if you want, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to see more storage ideas. See ya!